Greetings, everyone. Today, I really wanted to go over some signs that you really should consider whenever you're considering where you're at. It could be a place, could be a relationship, could be many different things. But today, we're going to go over this 10 signs you need to move on from people and places that don't serve you. And the reason we're covering this is because it is my goal, it is my aspiration, it is my mission to do what I can to inspire people to really evaluate the situations they find themselves in regards to fundamentally figuring out if what they're facing is something that they can really come to terms with and acknowledge. So, and that can certainly relate to being an expat and deciding to go your own way, which is which is pretty much what this channel is all about. So let's get into it, and I'll definitely provide some commentary through these slides. And this is where we're going to get started here. Number one, you feel drained, not energized. And if every interaction leaves you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, or emotionally drained, it's a sign you're in the wrong environment. And that speaks for itself in so many ways. If you're feeling it, you know it. If you recognize it, you recognize it. If you can tell that people are not truly appreciating you and you're just going through the motions, it's not serving you. So this is one of those areas that you just really got to be mindful. And I know a lot of people, they don't have it so they don't find it so easy to really see things for what they are. But the way that I live my life personally, this is these are pretty much 10 signs that I consider whenever it comes to me with a particular situation. Could be a relationship, could be a place. It all comes into play. Number 2, you're constantly walking on eggshells. If you can't be yourself without fear of judgment, criticism, or backlash, it's time to rethink your surroundings. And that's huge. For myself, I can definitely think of some situations in which, you've got judgment and criticism that come into play. Backlash. Oh, yeah, definitely understand that. It depends if your politics rub somebody the wrong way, depending on where you live. Could be your religion, could be that. It could I mean, hell, sometimes people just don't like you just because you're for whatever reason. So it's just one of those things you have to be constantly considering is you're constantly walking on eggshells. And even with people, I mean, that could be anything. It could be even your boss, right? Like even your boss. Like I've faced, situations with my old bosses, which many of us have. If you've been working for any period of time, you know what it's like. But again, this goes into play big time. All right, number 3, your growth is stagnant. This is a really great one. If the people around you don't encourage your personal, spiritual, or professional growth, you may be stuck in a place that's holding you back. Let's read that again. If the people around you don't encourage your personal, spiritual, or professional growth, you may be stuck in a place that's holding you back. That goes for people too. In different circles, different situations, you're going to come across people that have a crab mentality where they don't want to see you grow. They don't want to see you doing anything different than what is the norm, different than what is conventional. So when it comes to your spiritual well-being, you know that better than anybody. But definitely your personal well-being, that's what it's all about as well. I mean, it's not just your spiritual or personal well-being. You're talking about growth here. So if you don't find that the person that is around you, the people that are around you, or just the environment that you find yourself in is just not there for you, motivating you and pushing you to do more, then consider that. Okay, we're going on to number 4. You're always the giver. And I know what this is like because I have been one of those people. But I definitely recognized it. And, depending on the situation, if somebody's filling my cup and I fill their cup and it's reciprocal and it's all good, then it's good. But if you're the one that's always giving, you need to cut that crap out. Seriously. So we've got here healthy relationships require mutual effort. If you're the only one giving while others take, it's an imbalance that will eventually drain you. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I can definitely identify with that. Let's move on. Okay, we're at number 5. You no longer share the same values. Over time, people grow in different directions. If your core beliefs and goals no longer align with those around you, moving on may be necessary. Let's think about that one more time. Number 5. What is number 5? You no longer share the same values. Let's go over it again. Over time, people grow in different directions. You can recognize this in your relationships with friends, with someone that you may have had somebody you may have dated before, someone you may have been married to before. People change, and when it comes to their core beliefs, when it comes to their goals or the lack of goals, because that's a real thing. Some people just don't have any goals, but when they no longer align, you know, when when there's just no more alignment and you're just there by yourself, then of course that's something that you have to keep in consideration. So it is necessary. So let's just keep going. Your presence is taken for granted. I know this one very well. Know this one very well, and I'm sure you do too. We've all been through these. It's not just for any one person, it's for all of us. We all know what this is like. We're all very well acquainted with this. Your presence is taken for granted. If your efforts, kindness, and loyalty are unappreciated, it's a sign that you're in a place where you're undervalued. Think about that. You're undervalued. The nomad capitalist, he's a YouTuber. He always says, go where you're treated best. Go where you're treated best. Well, what does that mean? It means going somewhere where you're freaking valued, where people actually acknowledge your existence and appreciate it. Uh, it just doesn't need any more explanation. You know when you feel valued, you know when you feel appreciated. But if there's a deficit there, then change it. Okay, we're going to number 7 here. There's more negativity than positivity. If a place or relationship brings more stress, anxiety, or frustration than peace and happiness, it's not serving your well-being. Okay? Next. We are at number 8. Your intuition is telling you to leave. Sometimes deep down, you know when it's time to move on. Trust that feeling. And on this channel, you're going to hear me talk about intuition all the time. You definitely need to be paying attention to your gut feelings. Do not ignore them. Do not ignore them. Your intuition is legit, and if you second guess your gut feelings, if you second guess your intuition, you could very well setting yourself up for a world of hurt. So just make sure you always listen to yourself, and it's not necessarily just listening to yourself or intuition. You know what you're thinking in the back of your mind. You know what you're thinking. So don't just deny that for the sake of other people. All right, number 9. You keep making excuses for staying. If you have to constantly justify why you remain in a situation despite knowing it's not good for you, it's time to be honest with yourself. Read that again. If you have if you, hold on, what, can't see so well. If you have to constantly justify why you remain in a situation despite knowing it's not good for you, it's time to be honest with yourself. That's exactly what I just said before. Listen to that little voice in the back of your head. Try to listen, you know. But yeah, that was number 9. Number 9 was you keep making excuses for staying. Like repeatedly staying in a situation with a group of people where you're constantly applying yourself, you're overextending yourself, and yeah, it's going to drain you. So let's go to number 10. You envision a better life elsewhere. If you frequently dream about a different environment where you feel more fulfilled, that's your mind and heart nudging you toward change. 100%. 100%. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. The only reason I'm putting this out here isn't because I want to beat a drum, say, look at me, look what I'm doing. No, because I want to be a catalyst for change. I want to be able to help people realize that they can do better, that they can make changes, and that they can feel a hell of a lot better about life than just being stuck in a rut. It could be a relationship, it could be at work where you're just another cog in the machine. It's just one of those things where you have to be your own best advocate. This is something that I've always uh, spoken about anytime I speak to anybody. And I was even in the documentary for Marsan with Sheikh Omar Suleiman. And if you click on the post section of my channel, you'll get to see that documentary. The one thing that I said is that you have to be your own advocate. Do not, do not let anybody have any control or any influence over the outcomes of your life because they don't have a vested interest. Okay? They don't have a vested interest. You have to take care of yourself. You have to look at a situation and learn to recognize it for what the hell it is and take action. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Take care.